No matter what people want you to believe, don't ever turn back on your dreams.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to 3 Degrees of Love. It's your girl Alana here. So just gonna continue where I left off. If you haven't seen part 1 and part 2 of this part 3 series, please check out the first 2 down below so you can be caught up on the overall message, if you will. So just a quick recap of the decks that I'm using. So I have the Sacred Reflections Oracle by Charlene Windus. And the backs look like this. And next is the Power of 8 Lenormand, Chakra Lenormand, by Trina Emmott and Michelle Gill. And of course the second, the first of the 2 series in this 2 deck duo, the Power of 8 Oracle. We have the first one that came out, which is the Chakra Oracle cards, again by the same creators, Trina Emmott and Michelle Gill. Wow, that was quite the weird mouthful. And following that, in the last video you would have seen me talk about the Sacred She Tarot by Ma Deva Padma. That's what the box looks like. And of course then following up then with the to present, or to what's remaining or last pulled, oh boy, is the Starman Tarot by David de Andelise. And of course this is the David Bowie inspired art deck. So yeah, and now in today's video, what I will be pulling from is gonna be from the 2nd edition of the Dream Visions Tarot, and this is created by Emma Zhang, who also is the creator of the, oh my gosh, what is the name of that one now again? I want it, and it's the Egyptian, yeah, I just can't remember the name of the deck now. Anyhow, I will, in editing, we'll put it up on the screen, but the deck just looks mwah, and I really want it. But anyway, so what we have, this is what the backs look like. This is the 2nd edition of the Dream Visions Tarot. Excuse me. That was first crowdfunded on Kickstarter. Yeah, so, and this 2nd edition I really love because it comes with a guidebook. So that's really exciting for me. Yay. And so, yeah. Okay. So let's get right into it. Okay. Yeah. So I love the way I think I did talk about this deck already in a previous video, but I can't recall right now. If I do find it, I will link it down below. But the artwork is gorgeous, and it is gilded in this sort of like electric blue, and it's beautiful. The only thing is that as a riffle and bridge shuffler, and I do like to shuffle my cards quite a bit, I do find that the ink does rub off on my hands, and so I do have to be mindful when I'm using other decks that, of course, that may have white, right? Like, because there's some that will pick up the, you know, the ink over time. I want to say the decks that I had I was concerned about were when I was using it with the Lillifer Tarot. I did pull this out when I was using the Lillifers, and then of course, yeah, the what you can see here is the Seeds of Shakti deck, which is actually a black and white deck, but I feel like the one thing that, you know, I am concerned in using these decks together right now is the fact that it, you know, the possibility of it rubbing off on the cards. But simple solution is just to, you know, after using these, give my hand a quick wipe off with, you know, with hand sanitizer or something along those lines. So just to rub off the blue ink. But I've been mindful of that since I started. So yeah. So I think I'm okay, and I haven't had any issues so far. So just like I said, I do notice that the blue does rub off on my fingers. So anyways, all right. Father, Lord, help me to see clearly all that I need to see today, Father God. For this collective, the greatest and highest good of the collective and all of humanity. See clearly all that I need to see today. The collective's greatest good. The greatest and highest good of humanity. Oh, okay. So we have, first out we have six of Cups. So it looks like the balancing of emotions. 8 of Cups. So leaving behind, you know, those who aren't matching our sense of loyalty, right? Who aren't vibing on the same frequency as us, and who haven't been, who, you know, might have been that energy vampire and making us feel like we don't belong, or we haven't belonged, right? And leaving that negative energy that has taken from, you know, the beauty, the natural beauty of who we are, right? And the trauma and the poison that has tainted, right? Leaving that behind, leaving the negativity behind. Okay. Freeing ourselves from the pain that takes away from the natural beauty that lies within. Ace of Swords. All right. Okay, Two of Wands, Two of Wands. Bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups. Yeah. So when we can separate ourselves, right, and separate ourselves from the poison that, you know, has taken away and eaten at us for so long, right? That and you know, slice right through that negativity and confronting the negativity that lies within, and the parts of ourselves that do not serve the greatest and highest good, when we can and take away from the very essence of who we are, right? We can confront that. We can, you know, separate ourselves from the you know, that sort of ego based led, you know, dark force of energy that has been plaguing us for so long, right? When we can let go of that, you know, and get rid of it to see the utter truth of it all, we can expect abundance, right? When we go against what has been our norm, because we've done the healing work, we've cut through that darkness, that armor, that ego-based wall, sense of authority. When we can, you know, to me, this it on this card here, this almost looks like, at first glance, when I'm looking down at it, there's two images that first pop into my mind. So the first one, right, when I take a deeper dive, I see the man in the shadow, okay, and what looks to be this big old moon in between two, like a doorway, when you, right, and what seems a possibility that's on the horizon, right? Now, what I also see when the card is down and I'm just glancing at it at first glance, I see the light that is on the other side of what looks like a dark hole, right? Like it's but it almost looks like it's a mirror, and somewhere in there, I see what looks like the head of someone, anyone, doesn't, right? Because there's no face, there's no features, and someone is looking into the mirror to see that glowing essence of purity and essence that's at the very core. But it's on the other side of this sort of darkness, if you will. Right? But you have to be able to look through and slice through it in order to see it. And so what, as I'm saying that, to me, it's you know, the idea of, you know, that saying, that's how does that saying go? We can only meet each other as deeply as we're willing to meet ourselves. Right? So to shed ourselves of the negativity that is lowering our energy and keeping us disconnected from one another, right? We have to be able to dive deep into what it, right? Now I feel like I can't speak anymore. I just, but I hope that makes sense. And you know, please comment down below if you know, if any of what I'm saying makes sense to you, you know, and gives you, I guess, a jumping point, if you will, for you to be able to apply that to whatever situation that you still have to heal from and work through, right? And that might be keeping you from achieving whatever, you know, success you're striving for, or right? So yeah. Okay, so let me read the guidebook on this. Okay. Okay, so 6 of Cups. Minor Arcana, and the way it's sectioned in the book, we have Wands, Cups, Swords, Pentacles. Okay, and all right. Okay, 6 of Cups. 10 to 20 degrees of Scorpio, Sun in Scorpio. The feeling of being a child. It's a card of nostalgia and happy childhood memories. Thinking about someone from the past or reminiscing about the past is represented by this card. In addition, it carries an air of childish innocence and youthfulness. Playfulness, innocence, goodwill, and sharing could all be represented by it. At the extreme, it can also be seen as being childish or immature. So, right, in this case, you know, it's two balances need to happen. There, you know, in regards to sort of balancing humanity, there's I get the sense that there's also a sense of the balancing of well, yeah, balancing of the ego, right, and the emotions. And I think in was it in the last video, I made reference to you know, the idea of our emotions being our advisors, and you know, and you know, the different advisors within ourselves. Even in previous videos, I know I made mention of things like our saboteurs, right? These are the innocence within the child's, the purity of emotions, right? And what can, you know, the traumas that one can endure and how that can poison, right? And when we allow that poison to direct our choices, and I said, you know, when we are elevated, we can make a much more balanced, logical decision when it comes to our you know, our choices and how it affects, you know, ourselves, those around us, you know, and ultimately, you know, all of humanity, right? Because the understanding, the ebb and flow, and the law of karma, right? I go back to that. So, anyways, and I also said, you know, I made reference to, you know, our emotions being our parts of our inner child, right? And you know, the ones that may get stuck in certain aspects of self, and that's why I made mention of the saboteurs. And our emotions should never be in the driver's seat of our choices. Our logical selves, our higher selves, are you know, are where we, you know, should be making decisions from. And we really can only do that once we've done the healing work. So, okay. 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups, 0 to 10 degrees of Pisces, Saturn in Pisces. It signifies abandoning a long-term project. Escapism and disappointment are also associated with it. It is possible that exhaustion and fatigue lead to the abandonment. Taking this step requires courage, decrement, and the ability to face yourself in the mirror. And Ace of Swords. Okay. There we go. Ace of Swords, element air. The cosmic force of logic and thought, invocation of truth. It symbolizes the power that can summon both good and evil. Ace of Swords can cut through all the attachments that are trapping a person in a situation. Stop putting off the inevitable. Face your truth. You are encouraged to make logical and correct decisions, being assertive, fair, and authoritative. So cutting through all the crap, that waste. Okay. 2 of Wands. 0 to 10 degrees of Aries, Mars in Aries. You are being presented with a new path by the 2 of Wands. Cosmic energies are at work. This path has tremendous power. It takes courage and curiosity to embark on this path, adventure, if you will. Additionally, it indicates overseas travel, sudden departures, and deciding whether to stay or go. A Two of Wands is also a card about strength, which can be found in harmony, rule, justice, courage, boldness, resolve, ambition, and restlessness. Yeah. So, as I said, when we open ourselves to, to shedding the light and healing the darkness and cutting through, the clouds and of pain and darkness that, that have only led to further pain and darkness, right? When we can confront those demons of our past, right? In both aspects of self, what we've endured and what we've then may have decisions we've made as a result of what we've carried, right? And we could face that, take responsibility, heal for it, and action, because the power is within ourselves, right? To change that pattern of behavior, right? Both from a conscious and unconscious level. Because all of those, right? Then we open the flow of abundance. We the opportunity, to take on a new course of action, of path, of adventure. Right? So when we've, because of the negativity that has kept us from really seeing the truth of self, right? That we are all loves of labor. And when we can see that and recognize that to the true essence of being, we can see how what we've endured, and then as a result of what we've endured over the course of humanity, continues to affect us and plague us, and has been doing that. And it's only through the healing work, not, for ourselves and, for our generations past, we can change the course of what may be fated for us to experience. And in doing that, right, for ourselves, for this lifetime, right, we do that for the following generation, for all of humanity, right? Think of it as a destined for self course correct, if you will, so that you, right, we can live out our best destiny. We can do that. But we each have to make that conscious choice, because, right? So, anyway. Okay. For making this video too long, So that was the dream visions, and now I'm gonna read from the using the mini Osho Zen. Okay. And feel free to comment down below, you know, what you think of how I've worked with the cards, you know, if, you know, would you or do you, like, well, I would love to know how you would pair this, how you would read. If you are into, you know, or if you're just here to, you know, to hear the messages and, you know, to take what you need for self-reflection, you know, or both, whatever, you know, I'd love to hear from you, you know, in the comments. And please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and, you know, and I hope that you would support me, you know, and, you know, by doing so, and me seeing how you interact, helps me and gives me the encouragement I need to, you know, to keep showcasing and you know, how I use my decks. And yeah, so anyhow, I just you know, I've personally, from what I've been through, feel that I've come a long way, and just, you know, sharing with you the tools that have helped me in collaboration with the work I've done, you know, professionally. It's I feel like it's also helping me in the process to continue building myself back from everything. So, and especially what the world is now, like I said, I feel it all, you know, and it hurts, and this is not how I feel you know, we should be with each other, you know. No. We were not supposed to be divided the way that we are. So, not to this disastrous ugliness degree. No. Global warming, all those things. Mother Nature's mad with us. No. Humanity's been really bad. We need to clean ourselves up. So, and, you know, I hope that, you know, in being here, that, you know, you are enjoying my content the way that I am presenting it to you, and, you know, what helps you, you know, great, what you can offer to aid in the healing for, you know, for us all, and that we can share and, you know, with one another. This is what I hope to build, and yeah, so for all of those that are, you know, going through whatever you're going through right now, and what still is hurting, you know, let's, you know, this is a good time, you know, to heal. It's a It's a scary time but it's a good it's a good time to make that decision for love. Love of self, building connections with others, building a legacy, and ultimately saving our planet and each other. Yeah. Okay. So we have 19, innocence. All right. And 8, letting go. Wow. Okay. Okay. Oh, past lives. Uh-huh. Okay. No, I'm not taking those. Sorry. Too many. But thank you. Okay, going with the flow. Okay, $16 to Thunderbolt. Okay, these cards, the reason why I'm not as talkative right now is because the messages are kind of very that I'm receiving are very sensitive. in nature, and I'm not 100% sure how to express that to you, because it's I'll just say this. So a lot of, while I was pulling these cards, from the moment this first card popped out, and based on the figure of the card and what I know about the which is not to say a lot, but I've heard the stories and the controversy with a particular the leader. Anyways, so it kind of looks like that, and the idea associated with innocence. So there's a reason why we're seeing the uproar of exposure that's in the media right now with certain celebrities. If you know, you know. And in relation to innocence, there's been certain documentaries that have come out, but this is nothing new. Scandals like this isn't new. No. Big scandals like this isn't new. But, right? Things have cycles, and things surface, and what is in the dark will always come to light. Okay? This is a karmic year. Need I say more? And the idea of childhood trauma. That's a very, very, very sensitive subject in many, many ways. And even especially right now with what is current in certain situations of what's currently going on. And the idea of innocence, where we come from, we are all labors of love. Right? The symbolism of the 8, and the infinity symbol. Right? So what I hear is the idea of walking away from the heavy burdens, the darkness. When we've endured trauma, there's in 2 categories that we tend to fall into, of I would say, of wells of, okay, and while there's many different, how are we react, right? There's many different trauma responses pockets that we can fall into, okay? Patterned behavior trauma responses, right? That keep our certain parts of ourselves stuck, okay? But when we start to fall into this, okay, like Alice in Wonderland, right? That when you fall into this hole, okay, you can fall either into perpetrator versus victim trap. Okay? And the choices we make can be influenced in many forms, that can be generated on a conscious level and an unconscious level, right? I also think about the idea of addiction and what we use to cope with the pains of our past, to drown it out. But that has only further created, more darkness. The light just went out. And I don't think that's a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. So letting go of the patterns of behavior that keep us trapped in this, okay? That is what we and the connections that keep us stuck too, as well, because they're immersed in that same, right? The companies we keep, okay? When we can let go of this cycle of pain, you can fly effortlessly. Okay. So, letting go. Sometimes, so the idea of when we talk about the idea of stored trauma in our bodies, it can be stored in our DNA as well, and sometimes the trauma that we endure, right, can be etched in our the darkness that is carried, the weight, right? So the part that either keeps us stuck, trapped in, maybe in this lifetime of that well, if you will, right, that I was referring to, right, either perpetrator or victim, right? And then the behaviors that keep us stuck, believing that we are still the same people we were at the time we endured that trauma. So then we either try to justify it by now becoming a perpetrator, or getting stuck in that I'm still a victim, right? And you don't realize that is what is also keeping you perpetuated in enduring, right? What you've had to endure. So when we can cut through and bring clarity on the situation at hand, we can then know how to change. In what ways, in what ways we need to change for our greater good, so that we can, right? So yeah, the family history, letting go, facing the past, because it also came upside down, but I don't keep it that way. That's also why, right? So, and that's why the idea of getting past life readings is and even, the Akashic records. But that's the other side, right, of what I would consider, of professional help too, right? That's like the deeper side of it, because you know, first the idea of psychology, you know, therapy, social work, right? I feel like that's also where there needs to be a balance too, because sometimes there's things that can be addressed too with medication. That could be something to explore as well, right? Not dismiss it, but at the same time, don't also rely on it, right? There has to be a balance in the healing too, I feel, when it comes to that, right? So anyways, and then, right, the idea, you know, breaking free and just allowing the flow, being in the now, right? Where's that card? Yeah, be here now, okay? And allowing that flow of abundance. When we do that, we right? Okay, so let's read the guidebook on the Osho Zen. You know what? I'm actually, because I'm a guidebook person, I'm gonna read what it says here in this guidebook about the major arcana. Okay, so the major arcana, the usual 22 cards are numbered with Roman numerals from 0 to 21 in this deck, and represent the central archetypal themes of the human inner journey. The master card, symbolizing transcendence, has no number. When a major arcana card appears in a reading, it has special significance above and beyond the cards of the minor arcana. It tells us that our current circumstances are giving us an opportunity to examine one of the central themes of our own individual inner journey. It will be particularly helpful to examine other cards in reference to the central theme. For example, what does the fact that I've been working too hard, exhaustion, tell me about my need for self-expression, creativity? How am I thwarting my progress in the journey toward creativity by putting all my energy into keeping the machine going? If there are no major arcana cards in the reading, chances are the current situation is a transient subplot of the larger play of your life. This doesn't mean that it is unimportant or that you should feel foolish to be so strongly affected by it. But the very absence of major arcana cards can reassure you that this too will pass, and later on you may very well wonder what all the fuss was about. Finally, if there are major arcana cards in a reading, it can indicate that a major change of scenes and characters in the play of life is taking place. There are times, in fact, when the profusion of major arcana cards is so overwhelming that you might want to choose just one of them. The one that strikes you with the clearest message as the centerpiece of a new reading to help you understand what you are facing now. Okay. So that's the little summary there on the major arcana. According to the Osho Zen guidebook. 19, Innocence. Commentary. The old man in this card radiates a childlike delight in the world. There is a sense of grace surrounding him, as if he is at home with himself and with what life has brought. He seems to be having a playful communication with the praying mantis on his finger, as if the two of them are the greatest friends. The pink flowers cascading around him represent a time of letting go, relaxation, and sweetness. They are a response to his presence, a reflection of his qualities. The innocence that comes from a deep experience of life is childlike, but not childish. The innocence of children is beautiful, but ignorant. It will be replaced by mistrust and doubt as the child grows and learns that the world can be a dangerous and threatening place. But the innocence of a life lived fully has a quality of wisdom and acceptance of the ever-changing wonder of life. So, basking in the purity and essence of who we are, not threatening it, not taking advantage of it, not abusing it, not taking away its right of free will, but nurturing it, teaching it, loving it. And that and protecting it. Right? We're all born with that innocence, essentially. Right? And so it's about preserving it. Now, often for generations, that hasn't happened. So we have a lot of wounded warriors out there. But the problem is when we are too forceful in our like I said, like I was saying before, falling into an either the perpetrator or the perpetual victim, right? So anyways, okay. Okay, still reading the 19 Innocence card. Okay, Zen says that if you drop knowledge, and within knowledge everything is included, your name, your identity, everything, because this has been given to you by others. If you drop all that has been given by others, you will have a totally different quality to your being. Innocence. There will be a crucifixion of the persona, the personality, and there will be a resurrection of your innocence. You will become a child again, reborn. So when we are able to free ourselves from the dark, painful aspects of our past, right? And that includes what we've endured, what we have then, because of what we endured, may have inflicted unconsciously or consciously upon another, right? When we can take responsibility, see it for what it is, do the introspection work, right? Forgiveness of sins, those of ourselves, those, that were committed by others upon us, and those that were committed upon our family lineage for generations, right? Being able to recognize it, see it, and let it and let it go. Let go of the darkness, shed the light on it, and then let go. Integrate the lessons learned, the wisdom attained from these situations, both good and bad. But when you hang on to the bad part, that just creates more darkness. We want to eradicate that cycle of heaviness, right? So, yeah. Okay, so right. 8, letting go. Okay, so into the minor arcana. I am just going to read the synopsis on the minor arcana from this guidebook. Okay. Minor arcana. Oh, whoops. The minor arcana. These 56 cards are divided into 4 suits representing the 4 elements, each marked with a particular color-coded diamond to distinguish them and of the predominant color of the suit. The cards of the water suit have a blue diamond. Those of fire, red. Clouds have a gray diamond, and rainbows a rainbow colored diamond. As in a regular deck of playing cards, the suits of the tarot each contain court cards, which have here been stripped of the importance of their aristocratic feudal titles and given names to simply represent the different opportunities for mastery over the 4 elements that they occupy. The suit of fire corresponds to the wands of the traditional tarot and represents the realm of action and response, the energy that moves us into situations and out of them again when we follow our gut feelings rather than our minds or our emotions. The water suit replaces the traditional cups representing the emotional side of life and tends to be a more feminine and receptive energy than fire, which is more masculine and outgoing. Clouds have been chosen to replace swords, traditionally the suit of air representing the mind. This is because the nature of the unenlightened mind is precisely, cloud-like in the way it blocks light and darkens the landscape around us, preventing us from seeing things as they really are. But there is another aspect to clouds that must not be overlooked. They come and go, and are therefore not to be taken too seriously. Finally, the suit of rainbows in this deck takes the place of the traditional suit of discs or pentacles, representing the earth element. This is traditionally the element representing the practical material side of life. But in keeping with the attitude of Zen, that even the most humble earthy activities contain an opportunity to celebrate the sacred. The rainbow has been chosen for this suit. In using the rainbow, which bridges the earth and sky, matter and spirit, we remind ourselves that in reality there is no separation between the lower and the higher. That indeed it is a continuum of one total energy, and that heaven is not some remote place high in the sky, but a reality waiting to be discovered right here on earth. So here is a journey of discovery and the way to the ultimate transcendence of it all. Go lightly and playfully from the peaks to the valleys and back to the peaks again, savoring every step of the way. Learn from your mistakes, and you can't go wrong. Okay, so I feel like that whole synopsis there at for the minor arcana pretty much just sums up like what, if you will, what I have been saying in different aspects and pieces. So like when I talked about the idea of oneness, right, and the unity of us, the combination of science and spirituality, right? The I think even during my my video I did most recently with Ari, when we talked about the polarities, if you will, and the variations within the two different points, especially even if we're talking about masculine and feminine, right? And then the balance, right? I talked about the center point being the stillest point, right? The safest, if you will. But of course we're human, right? And the understanding of, as humans, we are ultimately in this sort of 3D realm are flawed, right? Because of what we have to endure in this lifetime, right? Or or in this incarnation, if you will, right? Or in each one, right? For generations, every generation has their own set of things that they've had to experience and endure and go through, right? But it's how we then take those experiences, right, and learn from them, and then how we then incorporate into our choices, right? Being able to being able to see the bigger opportunity and the bigger picture, if you will, of all that occurs, and clearing the clouds, because I can't remember which card it was, but I think it's in this section here. I talked about, and it might be this one, or even either from the Sacred Reflections or from the Power 8 Oracle We talked about the clearing of the clouds, right? And stuff like that. So, and even I think one of the first cards that was pulled in the Sacred Reflections, well, the very first card, not one, but the very first card here of the Sacred Reflections, it was about the the what was pictured is what I had mentioned that looked like a portal, right? And in front of it was an owl. If you haven't seen, the other continuations of this video, I encourage you to check it out, part 1 and part 2, which is already up on my channel. So, right? And it's that wisdom that we take from the things we experience, and then how we then apply it to future situations, and how easily that can become tainted by trauma, right? That we may have had to endure based on whatever experience we've experienced, which can be a repetitive karmic cycle that maybe hasn't been learned from, hasn't been fulfilled, if you will, based on, like I said, generational trauma, right? So it's about getting to the root of these things and how we can, right, how we can heal them so that we can be living our best lives in the present, right? So, and that's just all that just was summed up in just the little synopsis here from the Osho Zen guidebook of the minor arcana, for the minor arcana. So I didn't even read Letting Go yet. So let's get to the water suit. Okay, so we know we're reading a minor arcana card. And hold on. 8, Letting Go, commentary. In this image of lotus leaves in the early morning, we can see in the rippling of the water that a drop has just fallen. It is a precious moment, and one that is full of poignancy. In surrendering to gravity and slipping off the leaf, the drop loses its previous identity and joins the vastness of the water below. We can imagine that it must have trembled before it fell, just on the edge between the known and the unknowable. To choose this card is a recognition that something is finished. Something is completing. Whatever it is, a job, a relationship, a home you have loved, anything that might have helped you to define who you are. It is time to let go of it, allowing any sadness, but not trying to hold on. Something greater is awaiting you. There are new dimensions to be discovered. You are past the point of no return now, and gravity is doing its work. Go with it. It represents liberation. In existence, there is nobody who is superior and nobody who is inferior. The blade of grass and the great star are absolutely equal. But man wants to be higher than others. He wants to conquer nature. Hence, he has to fight continuously. All complexity arises out of this fight. The innocent person is one who has renounced fighting, who is no longer interested in being higher, who is no longer interested in performing, in proving that he is someone special, who has become like a rose flower or like a dewdrop on the lotus leaf, who has become part of this infinity, who has melted, merged, and become one with the ocean and is just a wave, who has no idea of the I. The disappearance of the I is innocence. There you go. Okay. 18, past lives. Okay, so now we're back to the major arcana. Right. 18, past lives, commentary. The hands of existence form the shape of the female genitals, the opening of the cosmic mother. Revealed within are many images, faces from other times. While it might be entertaining to fantasize about famous past lives, it is just a distraction. The real point is to see and understand the karmic patterns of our lives and their roots in an endless repetitive cycle that traps us in unconscious behavior. What? Enough said. Okay, well, no, I'm not done reading, but I've just... Okay. The two rainbow lizards on either side represent knowing and not knowing, conscious and unconscious. Aha. They are the guardians of the unconscious, making sure that we are prepared for a vision that might otherwise be shattering. A glimpse into the eternity of our existence is a gift, and understanding the function of karma in our lives is not something that can be grasped at will. This is a wake-up call. The events in your life are trying to show you a pattern as ancient as the journey of your own soul. A child can become conscious only if in his past life he has meditated enough, has created enough meditative energy to fight with the darkness that death brings. One is simply lost in an oblivion and then suddenly finds a new womb and forgets completely about the old body. There is a discontinuity. This darkness, this unconsciousness, creates the discontinuity. The East has been working hard to penetrate these barriers, and 10,000 years' work has not been in vain. Everybody can penetrate the previous life or many past lives, but for that you have to go deeper into your meditation for two reasons. Unless you go deeper, you cannot find the door to another life. Secondly, you have to be deeper in meditation, because if you find the door of another life, a flood of events will come into the mind. It is hard enough even to carry one life. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Going with the flow. Okay, so going with the flow. Back to Minor Arcana. Righty. Okay. And again, back to the water suit. Ace, going with the flow, commentary. The figure in this card is completely relaxed and at ease in the water, letting it take him where it will. He has mastered the art of being passive and receptive without being dull or sleepy. He is just available to the currents of life with never a thought of saying, I don't like that, or I prefer to go to the other way. Sorry, I prefer to go the other way. Every moment in life, we have a choice whether to enter life's waters and float or try to swim upstream. When this card appears in a reading, it is an indication that you are able to float now, trusting that life will support you in your relaxation and take you exactly where it wants you to go. Allow this feeling of trust and relaxation to grow more and more. Everything is happening exactly as it should. When I say become water, I mean become a flow. Don't remain stagnant. Move, and move like water. Loud zoo. I want to say it's zoo, but I feel like that might be wrong. Anyway, says the way of the Tao is a watercourse way. It moves like water. What is the movement of water or of a river? The movement has a few beautiful things about it. One, it always moves toward the depth. It always searches for the lowest ground. It is non-ambitious. It never hankers to be the first. It wants to be the last. Remember, Jesus says, those who are the last here will be the first in my kingdom of God. He is talking about the watercourse way of Tao, not mentioning it, but talking about it. Be the last. Be non-ambitious. Ambition means going uphill. Water goes down. It searches for the lowest ground. It wants to be a non-entity. It does not want to declare itself unique, exceptional, extraordinary. It has no ego idea. So it's exactly what I'm saying. I have been saying it throughout the past, of these videos. It's the ego is the root of the evil, right? And it's when we assert authority over another, right? That pattern of karma will then flow accordingly, right? So it's about recognizing that each of us are a unique piece in this larger whole. That's why I keep talking about this movie, Strange World. And I'll keep saying it because it to me it outlines just the whole aspect of being, right, and of oneness, and recognition of, you know, our DNA, and how all of that sort of connects, you know, to it all. And, you know, when we put out good vibes, when we go about our lives with good intent for self, for our family, and for all of humanity, then the ebb and flow that results as a result of that, right, is harmony, as opposed to becoming and the expectation of being judge, jury, and executioner, right? That's how we inflict trauma, and that's how we continue to corrupt the masses, because we are allowing our traumas to dictate the choices we make in our life, and using that as a weapon, if you will, to what? To stay face, to win what exactly? When we go against one, we go against all, because of the idea of the rippling effect, right? So it's healing that ego, that bruised ego. When we can do that, and we can see the larger picture of ourselves and how we fit into the grand scheme of things, and the greater grandness of the world and all that is, right? When you connect to the divine, and the only way into that is by the depths, is by diving deep into the depths of ourselves, of our hearts, where we all originate from. That keeps us connected to each other, to all existence. Right? It's that saying that goes that we can only meet each other as deep as we're willing to meet ourselves. You won't be able to see the true essence of another if you aren't if you're not committed to taking that deep dive into self. Deep dive into self is the deep dive into your genetic makeup, right? That includes your heritage, your ancestral pathways, if you will. All of it. Not just the good parts, right? We learn from our from the trials and the tribulations, the errors, right? But unless we recognize what those errors are to make them conscious, we can't change the will of that until we've learned that lesson, right? So healing to bring us back to center, right? Okay, so that's the Osho Zen.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining me. I'm going to leave it here. Join me for part 4. And until I see you again, always live, listen, and learn. Take care of yourselves and each other. I love you. Bye.
Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. No matter what people want.